Hi, welcome back to La Belle. Today I'm going to provide an update on the Tampa Bay surgeon case. If you recall, this is the case involving the plastic surgeon that is currently in jail waiting trial for first degree murder of Steve Cozy, also a Tampa Bay lawyer. Um, so if you recall from my last video that I'll insert here, I'll put a card there. The defense had filed a motion to dismiss the indictment and also a motion to set bond. Now, the state has since filed its response to those motions, and last week the court held a hearing where it denied the motion to dismiss the indictment and it also denied the defendant's motion for bond. I wasn't surprised. He's been charged with first degree murder. And so I wasn't surprised that the court ruled in that way. But one of the things that we did learn in the state's response to those motions was that they filed their opposition and they also filed their own motion to detain Dr. K until trial. So, in that state's motion, we got a lot of information, including three affidavits that were filed in support of that motion. So, today I want to go through the state's motion because it really tells us a lot more about what the state's case is. And I think it also shows even more of why the state, at least currently, is pursuing the death penalty. Now, after today, I don't foresee a lot happening in this case for a while. The defendant has waived his right to a speedy trial, which means things will just kind of go on. So I wanted to provide this update to kind of give some additional information. And then, of course, I'll follow the case and provide updates, but I don't anticipate much going on until trial. The other thing, the sad thing is that to date, we still have not found, the police have still not found Steve Cozy's body, and the information that was filed in the state's motion and the affidavits is going to show us a bit of a reason of why that's not been the case. Now, this is new. An investigation of Dr. K's iCloud account, remember, technology always gets you, revealed on February 16, he took a photo of the victim's condo parking space, which captured a picture of the victim's vehicle. So, premeditation there, stalking potentially. On February 23, he videotaped the cars in the parking lot of Belcher Road. That's the law firm. And then on March 2nd, he also searched for personal information about the victim on the internet. This is new. Recommend records from Amazon for an account associated with Dr. K revealed he ordered two collapsible gorilla carts, one red and one blue. The red cart was sent to his Miami residence and was later located during the execution of a search warrant on that residence. The blue cart was sent to his Tarpon Springs residence, and that one was never recovered. And then a black gorilla cart was also located at the Tarpon Springs residence. So then on March 14th, this is I put in my notes when I read through this, I put wow. So on March 14th, Dr. K was observed in a storage closet in the shared hallway of the law firm. So he was chased off the property by a concerned employee of the veterinary clinic that's housed in the same office complex as the Blanchard law firm, which is where the victim worked. And after Dr. K left, employees discovered a blue collapsible wagon in a box in the utility closet. No one who works at the building left the wagon. The wagon was not present in the building during the processing of the murder of the victim. And here, defendant K's fingerprint was found in the utility closet. So this is again new here on March 17th. Again, the victim was killed on March 21st. The doctor's iPhone connected to the Wi-Fi at the Blanchard law firm. Telling you guys, technology. Cell location data corroborates his location in the area of the law firm on that same date and time. So he's like scoping the place out. On March 20, again, this is the day before the murder, he conducted an internet search for the effects of, I'm not going to be able to say this drug. Let's just say this drug, starting with the word S, and dosage amounts. And this drug is a known paralytic agent. Now, this is new. This is the confirmation that we have, what we suspected from the probable cause affidavit, that the defendant actually did dial in to that telephonic court hearing, again, about the case that he had brought as a plaintiff against the Plastic Surgery Institute where he had formerly worked. And again, technology, his iPhone connects to a cell tower, basically so close that this cell tower basically looms over the parking lot. So, very good technology evidence here. We also see that his iPhone remained connected to that tower throughout the duration of the phone call. So, it was definitely that time period, that 30-minute court hearing. Also, this is new, a witness present in that telephonic hearing. My guess is probably the other defendant. If you recall, there were two defendants in the case. The victim was representing one of the defendants, and there was a separate defendant that was being represented by another person. I suspect that that's probably who this witness is. But in any event, a witness present in the telephonic hearing who has extensive experience with Dr. K throughout the civil litigation heard Dr. K's voice and observed that defendant took over the phone conference with a list of items to accomplish. At the completion of the hearing, he powers down his iPhone. And then, of course, we have the video surveillance showing this figure moving the cart into the back of the truck and then the truck leaving. This is all not new. We knew that there were various security cameras that tracked the car as it was making its way toward this address here, which is the Tarpon Springs home. That's all, information we already had. So skipping ahead to what is new here. We know that there was a search on the home, and this was actually occurred when Dr. K was in Miami. Because if you recall, the murder happened on the 21st of March, and then later that afternoon, Dr. K left town and headed to Miami. Not surprised here, but we now have confirmation that, of course, the residence was processed for DNA. Here we go. And here's a lot of new information. Later DNA analysis revealed a mixture of defendant K's DNA and blood of the victim in the middle of the garage floor of Dr. K's residence. The victim's blood was also located in the car, the Toyota Tundra. But we now have confirmation that the DNA analysis that was done at that horrible bathroom scene was confirmed that there was the victim's blood on various surfaces in this bathroom. Horrible. Also new is a mixture of Dr. K's DNA and the victim's DNA was located on the exterior of the men's bathroom floor. So we know that Dr. K traveled south on the afternoon, I think it was around just before 5 p.m. on the 21st, the same day the murder occurred. He first of all passes the Blanchard law firm because he diverted from the normal way you would go to go south. He decides to pass by the law firm. And where have we seen that before? Right? Returning to the scene of the crime. But here's where it gets more chilling, guys. Dr. K drove to an area of Highway 41 and Loop Road on the Tamiami Trail. Cell records from Dr. K reveal he drove, so he basically stops at an area. And this area right here, US 41 and Loop Road. Here's where I'm going to insert some pictures of that area. And you can see how desolate it is. It's actually kind of a famous area. There was this gas station there called the Monroe gas station. And it's kind of a historical place. And there's even like a walking trail there. People go to see things like this, gators. But they also go to do nature trails, etc. So that's disturbing. He stops there for a few minutes. And then the cell records show that A couple days later, when he's still in Miami, he drives from his Miami home to this same place again, stays for a short period of time, and then goes back. That's a 2-hour road trip. So it's basically approximately an hour from where this Monroe Station area at, the Loop Road and US Highway 41 and where he was living in Miami. So why would he go back to this desolate area 2 days later? So then, of course, he comes back to Tarpon Springs, but this is new. Before he left Miami, his iPhone's searching things like Largo police warrant, Largo police warrant, Largo police department. Of course, he was stopped when he got back into Tarpon Springs. This is interesting. So we know he was pulled over, and they had a warrant for his arrest, and we knew that there were things found in the car. Now, what is new? First of all, we didn't know anything about him having 280 grand in cash. Hmm. We knew he had some masks. We knew I didn't know anything though about the Guy Fawkes masks, which is kind of creepy. But we knew he had some of this other stuff, the ballistic vest. I We did not know he had firearms. We didn't know he had patches for, I think this stands for Pinellas County Sheriff's Office and Clearwater Police Department. That's new. Industrial trash bags. We didn't know about that either. We did know about the paralytic agent. This is also new. He was found with a Polish passport and a United States passport. He did also process his car. This Toyota Corolla was the car that he drove on a regular basis that was actually registered. And that is what he drove down to Miami in the day of the murder. Of course, they processed that for DNA, and sadly, the victim's DNA was found in the trunk. This is all new. Apparently, they arranged a search, and that search led to a dumpster that was at that Monroe station. So, again, I'm going to show that here. And unfortunately, a cadaver dog alerted to the dumpster. So then they spoke to the driver of the garbage truck who disposed of that dumpster. And apparently, um, the garbage had been picked up on March 23, that same day that the defendant came to check it out. And the garbage truck driver did describe the dumpster as being heavier than normal because apparently it's usually just filled with like camping materials. Because again, this is kind of a not touristy, but kind of a camping, outdoorsy area. And he described it as smelling, you swear word here, vile. Okay. The other thing is, apparently, garbage trucks have cameras on them. I mean, my gosh, it's just so amazing when you find out in these cases. A video, I think that's smart. Anyway, a video from the garbage truck um, shows it being actually dumped, and the video shows a large garbage bag falling in a manner inconsistent with normal trash and consistent with being shaped and falling in a manner not inconsistent with a wrapped human body. So then they spoke with Waste Management, which is the company, the trash company, and they learned where, that trash would go. And so where it would go is Collier County, which is basically the Naples area. That's where the trash would go, when it was picked up. And then they did searches there. Um, Sadly, one of the things they learned is that when the trash is delivered, it's compacted to approximately a third of its normal size, so it does really make recovery efforts impossible. And then as we know, a grand jury then indicted him on first-degree murder, and then, of course, the state has filed its motion to seek the death penalty. More information that we know that's new is that he has over 200 firearms in his house and a vintage guitar collection, which is worth a lot of money. This was the argument. Again, like I said, the court denied that. This was for the Arthur hearing. The court denied it. And here's kind of where they show out like, look, in the instant case, he methodically planned the murder of the victim over the course of months of a person who at best annoyed him in litigation. His planning and disposing of the body demonstrate a danger to the community. He was arrested with tools to kidnap and kill others. He's got not just a US passport, but he's got a Polish passport. He has the means and the property to leave the country. And basically, he presents a danger to the community and therefore he needs to stay in jail until trial. And of course, the court agreed. So there you go, guys. What do you think? Do you think this case will go to trial? That's a lot of evidence that we know about right now. And I'm assuming that the state has even more evidence that we haven't seen. But gosh, I thought that we had a lot in the probable cause affidavit. And now with this information that we found in the state's motion that was successful to retain um, Dr. K in jail until trial, wow, a lot. This case, the next hearing is not until October. So I'll provide an update back when we get closer to that. But in the meantime, if you haven't already, if you would consider subscribing and liking this video, I'd really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm. And in the meantime, I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.